African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of October 17, 2025. In response to terrorist attacks by Ukraine on civilian objects on the territory of Russia from October 11th to 17th, the armed forces of the Russian Federation delivered a massive and 7-group strikes with high-precision long-range weapons of ground and air-based origin, including hypersonic aeroballistic missiles Kinzhal, as well as strike unmanned aerial vehicles, resulting in damage to enterprises of the Ukrainian military-industrial complex, transport and energy infrastructure facilities. Used in the interests of the armed forces of Ukraine, ammunition depots, assembly, storage and launch sites of long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations, nationalists, and foreign mercenaries. Units of the North Troop Group inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 5 mechanized, Ranger, airborne assault brigades, 2 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine, and 2 territorial defense brigades. In the Kharkiv direction, as a result of decisive actions, the settlement of Tycho in the Kharkiv region was liberated. Damage was inflicted on formations of 2 mechanized, motorized infantry brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine, a territorial defense brigade, and a border detachment of the Ukrainian Border Service. Over the week, in the area of responsibility of the North Troop Group, enemy losses amounted to more than 1,315 servicemen, 3 tanks, 12 combat armored vehicles, 80 cars, and 9 field artillery guns. 6 electronic warfare stations, 38 ammunition and material depots were destroyed. Units of the West Troop Group, as a result of decisive actions, liberated the settlements of Borovskaya, Andriivka, and Peskino in the Kharkiv region. Damage was inflicted on formations of 5 mechanized, airmobile, airborne assault brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine, 2 territorial defense brigades, and a National Guard brigade. The enemy lost over 1,570 servicemen, 21 combat armored vehicles, including 7 of foreign manufacture, 171 cars, and 9 field artillery guns. 39 ammunition depots, 61 electronic warfare and counter-battery stations were destroyed. Over the past week, units of the South Troop Group advanced deep into the enemy's defense. Damage was inflicted on personnel and equipment of 6 mechanized, motorized infantry, airmobile, mountain assault brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, 2 territorial defense brigades, and a National Guard brigade. Over the week in this direction, losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to up to 1,345 servicemen, 1 tank, 24 combat armored vehicles, including 6 of Western manufacture, 87 cars, and 17 field artillery guns. 6 electronic warfare and counter-battery stations, 27 ammunition and material depots were destroyed. Units of the Center Group of Forces, as a result of active and decisive actions, liberated the settlements of Moskovskoye, Balagin, and Novopavlovka of the Donetsk People's Republic. Defeated formations of 5 mechanized, 2 Ranger, assault, 2 airborne assault brigades, 2 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine, 2 Marine brigades, a territorial defense brigade, and 2 National Guard brigades. The enemy lost more than 3,705 servicemen, 1 tank, 14 armored combat vehicles, 35 cars, and 12 artillery pieces. Over the past week, units of the East Group of Forces liberated the settlements of Alexievka and Privoli in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Defeated personnel and equipment of 3 mechanized brigades, 3 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, a territorial defense brigade, and a National Guard brigade. Enemy losses in this direction amounted to over 2,315 servicemen, 2 tanks, 17 armored combat vehicles, 103 cars, 13 field artillery pieces, and 10 electronic warfare stations. Units of the Dnieper Group of Forces inflicted defeat on formations of 2 mechanized mountain assault brigades, a coastal defense brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost up to 435 servicemen, 2 armored combat vehicles, 50 cars, and 5 artillery pieces. Destroyed were 26 electronic warfare stations, 13 ammunition and material supply depots. During the week, air defense means shot down 36 guided aerial bombs, 18 reactive projectiles of the U.S.-made HIMARS multiple launch rocket system, 2 long-range guided Neptune missiles, as well as 1,304 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. By the forces of the Black Sea Fleet in the Black Sea area, 6 unmanned boats of the Armed Forces of Ukraine were destroyed. In total, since the start of the special military operation, destroyed 667 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 90,737 unmanned aerial vehicles, 633 surface-to-air missile systems, 25,543 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,602 multiple launch rocket system combat vehicles, 30,531 field artillery pieces and mortars, 44,159 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.